Hello everyone! Welcome to another multiplayer battle. Let me quickly actually slow this down real fast. I am playing as the Greenskins. My ally here is playing as the Vampire Counts. For my army, I brought in Grimgor because he is amazing. Very expensive, but he has very good buff abilities for anybody who's close to him, as well as just being an excellent fighter. I also brought an Orc Shaman to buff our fighting capabilities. My front line consists of 3 groups of Goblin Spearmen for screening. I have 2 Orc Biggins, 2 Night Goblin Archers, 2 groups of Trolls, 2 groups of Savage Orc Biggins, and a Giant here. Now, the Orc Biggins and the Savage Orc Biggins do have a bonus against Large, which is kind of why I brought them here, because we're facing off against the Empire and Bretonnia, both of which is probably going to bring Cav. And as we can see over here, we have some Knights of the Realm over there. We're going to have more Knights of the Realm, and then I think 2 Grail Knights, and then also 2 Demi-Griff Knights, one with halberds. Nothing really new there. You're always going to see Demi-Griff Knights. The Empire player here also brought, I think, 2 guns and then 2 crossbows. Brought 3 great swords, 4 great swords, and then a couple spearmen led by Karl Franz on a Pegasus, I believe. Then, the Bretonnian player here goes in a total defensive formation surrounding these trebuchets, and they are being led by just a generic Bretonnian lord. An odd choice. I've never seen a player do this before. But, yeah, that's a lot of field trebuchets. My ally here, the Vampire Counts, brought a whole lot of flyers. I think 3 bats and then 2 groups of Vargeist. They also have 2 Black Knights. They have Heinrich Himmler back there. I know they have a White King. They have 3 Graveguard with great weapons, 4 Graveguard, just normal, 3 Skeletons, and then 2 Zombies. I also have some Cav off in the wings over here. We have 2 Forest Goblin Spider Riders and then 2 Wolf Riders. Again, because Bretonnia and Empire both usually bring in some kind of archers, Bretonnia didn't this time. Instead, they just brought field trebuchets, which again is really weird. But I brought those to hopefully try and sneak past their lines. The problem is, we started this match with all of this Cav on my left side. No way my Cav can take them. These are very cheap Cav, meant to just do... You can have them do a handful and hammer... Let me try that again. Hammer and anvil attacks, but mostly they do pretty well against enemy ranged units, which is what I brought them for. So I'm going to have to wait and try and sneak them in around later, or at least try. So we are immediately charging. I'm trying to charge here at an angle so that I can fight a little bit in the forest in case I have to fight the Cav, and also because I kind of want to kill this Bretonnian player, and I want to help the Vampire Count player do that. Because they just have a bunch of field trebuchets and I know we need to knock them out. And it does look like the Vampire Count player also had the same thought in mind, so they start sending in their Fellbats towards the trebuchets. The trebuchets then start moving up, and they're actually going to kind of form a kind of like a wall right here, which is kind of weird. I don't know if that was the whole purpose of the trebuchets in the first place, but yeah, this is really odd that they moved them up as soon as they got attacked out of the defensive formation. Right here, I thought I was going to catch these Grail Knights with my Spider Riders, so I started buffing my Orc Biggins with the Fist of Gork from our Orc Shaman, because I thought that they were going to be tied up by the Spider Riders and then just destroyed by the Savage Orc Biggins. So in the end here, I just wasted my Winds of Magic spell right there. I am also charging the Empire line here, these Great Swords, along with these Skeletons. We've got some Goblins coming in. On the left, there is still a lot of Cav just kind of standing still, so I'm not really moving too much, but I still have a presence over there. We got Karl Franz in the mix right there. And then those archers are just hitting me pretty hard. I do try to send some Cav their way, but it does take a little while. There goes my Giant. In the middle of some great swords. And poor Karl Franz. I do forget to put Grimgor in the actual fight for a little bit, which is a mistake. Meanwhile, the Bretonnian player, again, forms like a wall of trebuchets. And now they are just being hit on the flanks by the Vargeist, and the Black Knights came charging in. And you can already see some people riding, but those are just the trebuchets. Against monstrous creatures, the Bretonnian infantry is going to do pretty well. They don't really have too many support units, though. All they really have now are just a bunch of spearmen and halberds, a couple Grail Knights, but those are mostly on my flanks. And then they just have this generic lord. They don't have a paladin or a damsel. Definitely would have brought a damsel in this case. And for my Cav, I'm still looking for a opportunity to go through and take their ranged out. I just dropped the Foot of Gork. I can't remember if that's the name of the spell. I also have a Here We Go buff surrounded or put on my units here. The Here We Go, excellent melee attack buff. I love it. Grimgore's finally getting it in here. Doing the wah. Pretty good skill. We have Girl Knights just kind of standing by. Carl Franz retreated for a little bit. And over here, just fighting some more Bretonians and another group of greatswords. Our trolls should do okay against greatswords, I think. And here we go. I finally had an opportunity. There was no cab nearby, so I run these forest goblin spider riders into these riflemen, which they're going to do pretty good. We still do have a group of crossbowmen, though. And I believe I send these wolf riders over to take care of them eventually. Meanwhile, in this main fight, a lot of my infantry is actually routed, fighting against these demigryph halberds and a lot of greatswords. So my infantry has gotten pretty brutalized here by these demigryph knights. Luckily for me, though, I am also able to bring down most of the halberd demigryph knights before they can even touch my, well, do much damage to my giant. Although they did do a lot of damage to some trolls, which are now routing, unfortunately. But, I mean, that's what the demigryph with halberds do pretty well. They kill, well, honestly, they kill anything. But they're especially good at killing large, monstrous creatures. And here we go, I'm now charging this crossbow unit, some wolf riders and spider riders. These poor crossbowmen have no chance. I also got a rear charge in on these Grail Knights. And still got almost a full set of demigryph Knights out and about. That is not something that's going to be good for me. Although honestly, they kind of just charge into their own crossbows. That's not an amazing charge that they got there. I'm not even sure what happened here. I think that was my spell? Can't remember. But Grimgore now is fighting against Carl, Franz, and melee. We also have the Giant, and I have my Forest Goblins. They've been mostly just shooting at different greatsword units to try to apply the poison attack, or poison debuff. And I'm also firing some into these Grail Knights that are now fighting in the forest, which is where I want them. It's my best chance at bringing down Grail Knights, and demigryph Knights is fighting in this patch of forest, which is why I chose this ground. And it seems to be kind of working in my favor. Orc Shaman here is trying to back up Grimgore. We got some more trolls coming in trying to finish off these, I think they're fighting an Empire Captain. And still some greatswords as well. Carl, Franz, and Grimgore are still going at it with these greatswords. Demigryph Knights coming back for another round. Those ones with the halberds. We haven't quite finished them off yet, but they have taken a lot of damage. This group of Grail Knights, I don't know. I'm thinking the Bretonnian player just kind of forgot about them. They've just been standing there for a little while. Varguy's chomping in on some handgunners. And yeah, the Bretonnian player has formed a defensive line on the Empire's left flank, kinda. I've already kind of broke through the mid of their formation, though. But they are holding on kind of strong, considering all of the fear and terror that's been hitting them. Heinrich Himmler, I think, just kind of sitting off in the back.
Fight! Kill! Our lives depend on it!
You see the Varguy's back there? Yeah, as you can see here, it's weird. These trebuchets forming this kind of wall. So now you just got these little engagements happening in between the trebuchet engines. My sorcerer took quite a big beating from these Grail Knights, as Grimgore is as well. Night Goblin's still trying to do what they can. Not doing so much damage, but it's mostly just the poison debuff. My Savage Orc? No, Orc Biggins running away. Kind of give you a wide picture of what's going on here. The Vampire account player at this point is looking very good, but all they really had to fight against was mostly just Bretonnian infantry, which without proper support, they're not going to hold on forever, as you can see here. So yeah, the Vampire player definitely had a better army than the Bretonnians. Me, on the other hand, well, the Empire player has dealt a lot of damage to me, and Grimgore, I think, just fell? Or is he still up? Is he still up in here? So I believe he does die or fall soon. Orc Shaman is routing. But yeah, it's just those two. It's just the Shaman and Grimgore against Greatswords, Grail Knights, and Demigryph Knights in this little patch of trees. And there we go. My Sorcerer finally falls. I don't really have too much left. I do have some Goblins over here and some more Night Goblins still that have not been attacked. I'm not sure why. They have Cav free. They could have destroyed or at least routed those Night Goblins. But Grimgore doing the best he can. Totally surrounded. And I believe he breaks. Yep, there he goes. His morale just broke. Vampire accounts player is still chasing off the Bretonnians. Bretonnians are very... They run, but they usually run when they still have a lot of units left, and so they reform like that, and they're just going to keep doing that until you break them down low enough. So you kind of have to chase them a lot, which is what the Vampire Count player is doing right now. And all I have left is a group of trolls, some goblins. My giant is close to death, but at this point I've now lost both of my leaders. So I'm pretty worried at this point, because I have mostly goblins. I do have a half-orc bacon group here. But yeah, now we see that there are still some ranged units left from the Empire player, and that is definitely going to be worrying me a lot, since we do have a giant and trolls left. Trolls and giants, very susceptible to focus fire, which may come into play here. Oh, just hit those great swords. But as you see, these forest goblin riders are kind of routing. My goblins are also not feeling too good about fighting a men-at-arms group. I do have reinforcements coming in, though, with them and the orc biggins. And here come the trolls. And we are getting to the wire here. Not too many units left, although the Vampire Count still has a nice chunk of blobbing Graveguard and still zombies, too. My Night Goblins going in there because they are now out of ammunition. Getting charged by Grail Knights. It's just not going to be good. There's still kind of a lot of Grail Knights there, but they are very low on health. And then here come a Demigryph Knights again. And you can see the only pocket of resistance that I really have left is now broken. All I have left is my giant and I think one group of Night Goblins. But luckily for me, the Vampire Count is still looking pretty strong. They have a full health White King. I believe they have a full health Kimmler back here still. And you can see that there's just kind of small engagements against Bretonnians, kind of out and about. As you can see now, though, these Demigryph Knights are pissed, and they are charging to my Night Goblins, which are not going to enjoy this. They're not going to enjoy this at all, actually. Yeah, they didn't enjoy that. One charge and my Night Goblins break. They're at half health already. That's all it takes, because Demigryph Knights are really strong. Plus, they're Night Goblins. Like, mostly anything can break them. So yeah, all I have left was my giant, but we got lucky and actually routed their entire army. I'm not entirely sure how. Did we kill their captain even, or did he run? Okay, the Empire captain fled. I know we got Carl, and I think the Bretonnian Lord must have fallen too. But yeah, I was really worried at this point because I was seeing my Night Goblins getting routed by these Demigryph Knights, and there are a full set of Demigryph Knights still out. And I was like, oh my god, you know, they can maybe even win this entire match, because all I had left was my giant. The Vampire Count still had some Graveguard though, but you know, I'm seeing, you know, Knights and Demigryph Knights. But yeah, we won. Their armies shattered without the leadership, and I think we got kind of lucky. If the armies didn't shatter with all the cav that these players still had, they definitely had the advantage. They could just do charges in and out, and yeah, I really thought we were going to lose this one. Whew, but we didn't. Alright, so here we go. Grimgor getting 94 kills. Grimgor is a solid character. My Orc Biggins, and especially Savage Orcs, didn't really do too well. I brought them because I knew that they had a bonus versus large, and I wanted to try and see if they could do okay against the Cav. But overall, not really all that great. These Forest Goblin Riders did pretty well, but they fought mostly, I think it was handgunners and crossbows. Giant and my one set of my trolls here, just MVPs. But if you don't focus fire the giant down, and if he's just allowed to wreak havoc in your infantry lines, this is going to happen. You need to destroy giants. If you just let them run free, they're going to just rack up so many kills. And so I was lucky that the enemy player didn't focus him down too much, except for throwing his halberd units, his Demigryph Knights against them, but it didn't really work out. And then again, these trolls did really well. They do super well against infantry, which is why I brought two groups, although this one didn't do as well. My ally here, White King, got 5 kills. I can't remember if the White King is a duelist or not, but still, in any case, that's kind of low. Skeletons actually did rather well. This group of 65, that's actually kind of remarkable for a skeleton group. Graveguard, holy crap. The normal Graveguard here did really, really well, and they still had almost full numbers and health left. The Graveguard with great weapons, they did alright. They did alright, but this wasn't really their fight. They are anti-armor. And you know what? It works. You know, it still works. They're fine. Black Knights did really well. The Bats did well enough to at least scare the Bretonnian player from using their trebuchets for too long. That was really weird. When he charged the Bats into the trebuchets, the Bretonnian player just moved the trebuchets up. That was a very, very odd choice. But you can see here the Knights of the Realm getting a nice number of kills. Man-at-Arms getting a nice number of kills. Even a Spearman unit. Even the Lord actually did pretty well for just being a Lord that's not even mounted. Grail Knights did okay. I think they could do better, but that's not bad. This is kind of bad for the amount of cost you put into a Grail Knight. 65 kills is not worth it. And then bringing 3 field trebuchets, that is also definitely not worth it. Kind of a waste of money in this fight particularly. But yeah, overall, I really thought we were going to lose this. Oh my god, look at those great sword kills. That is just really good. Demigryph Knights. Oh my god, Demigryph Knights. They're so good. And they're cheaper than Grail Knights. And they're better than Grail Knights. In most cases. Grail Knights do have the magic attack, which can be super good against Vampire counts specifically. But anyway, that was a good match. So good game to my opponents. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you all next time. Take care.